Hello friends, welcome back to my video. My name is Cotton Candy Doll, and today we're going to be shifting to Resident Evil 4. I'm going to tell you guys about my story time there. It was a really interesting experience that I want to share with you guys. Now in my previous video I mentioned going to Attack on Titan and how that affected me. I don't want to ruin anyone's shifting experience. Okay, so I basically did some scripting. I went online and I looked at these videos of people scripting, and they did some things that, worked for them, and they write it down and they can just go to these places. And personally, that's never worked for me. I've never been able to do that, like ever. I always have to depend on my energy. So your energy is a very powerful thing. You either have positive or negative, good or bad, dark or light, that sort of thing. So, and it does affect you. So I have to take that into perspective whenever I shift somewhere. It's 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 a big thing. So I want to share my script with you guys so you can see, get an idea of who I wanted to be when I traveled here as opposed to I actually was and what was actually going on. So I'm going to first read off to you what I wanted to do. My plan was to go there as Cotton Candy Doll, a special classification agent. Okay, I was supposed to be in charge of missions, blueprints, hideouts, and successfully completing objectives. My first mission was supposed to be the village, right, with Leon. So this is just like a what if type thing. Okay, so I'm in charge. So I dispatch two teams of four. One is coming from the north and one's coming from the south. Their objective is to meet in the middle. They're supposed to search for Ashley, and whoever finds Ashley is supposed to take Ashley. It's going to end up being Leon anyway. Leon's going to find Ashley. He's going to take her up to the mountain, the highest mountain that has water below it. And we're going to send a submarine underground so nobody sees it. He's going to dress her up in his diving gear, and she's going to have to dive off that cliff by herself into that water. And headquarters, people from headquarters, officers, they're going to be waiting to grab her. Also, there's going to be two decoys that look like Ashley and Leon. So if they're doing their job correctly, they should be running around, and the enemy will be chasing them, as opposed to looking for Leon and Ashley, because they'll think that is them. But they'll be trained officers ready to, or trained agents ready to, take out the enemy. So mission accomplished. All right. So the cons of this mission, the cons of my mission is that, number one, we're coming in hot. Enemies are going to be alerted by our presence. No more, oh, no, by Leon, okay? Now let's talk about this. Zombies should not be able to bite through military clothing. I don't care what anybody says. That's my personal opinion. Now, BOWs are an exception because those are basically monsters that bite your head off. And they bite your head off, you're not going to be moving. You're going to be dead. So, armored clothing, that's definitely a requirement. Helmet and neck protection, protective gloves, and hand-to-hand combat skills should be up to par. Because the villagers are just regular people who don't know how to fight. They basically have pitchforks. Not really a pitchfork, but whatever their farming equipment is, they're using that to try and fight you with axes and stuff. You're the military. You're supposed to be stronger than that. You need to be able to survive this. So we get Ashley out. We get her back to the White House. And the mission should be successful. We should be so successful that we don't even know she's infected. Honestly, we should be able to get her out of there so tip-top, so fast, that we don't recognize there's a problem until her father says there's a problem. Or she recognized there's something wrong with her. They did something to me. And then we can come back in and figure out the problem and solve it from there. That's what I would have done at the operations manager, as the person in charge of everything. Now let's talk about my shifting experience there and how it all went to shit. It literally, it went to shit, okay? None of my plan worked out how I expected it to. I basically ended up in this room, and I woke up on this desk. Woke up on the desk with this pen in my hand. I had been writing something the whole time. I had no idea what I was writing. Basically, like these weird symbols, like the Los Illuminados would write, something like that. And so, like on the door, it had like a little window. It was a little square glass window, and then in front of me was a bunch of file cabinets, and then next to those file cabinets was like a blackboard. All right, and it said La Plaga on it. So I walked down these stairs. It almost looked kind of like a lecture hall because it was big. You had like a whole 360 full view. And there were two doors on the side of me, but they were locked. So both of those doors on the side of me were locked. And I'm sitting in this basically in this bench, like this bench with this chair and this desk. So I get up because I hear screaming down the hall. And I look out the window. And then before I can even look out that long, all of a sudden the door opens and two military men dressed in the military suits, they drag this guy in here. He's screaming his head off, "Oh, get off me, let me go, let me go." And then, they close the door. They close him in there with me. So then, I put my hand on his shoulder. I like touch him a little bit, like, "Hello, are you okay?" And he's like, "No, I'm not okay. They injected me with something." And I'm like, "What did they inject you with?" He goes, "This red liquid. The needle had like a T on it. It said T something." I'm like, "Okay, well, that doesn't sound good because from the game, that sounds like a T virus. It sounds like they injected him with a T virus, and I'm in the room with him." So I go to the door and I like twist on it, and it's locked, of course. So the guy, he just starts crying. He like went into like this fetal position. He's crying on the floor, and I'm trying to tell him it's gonna be okay, even though I know it's not gonna be okay. So then, like, I feel like something weird in my arms. And I look at my arms and I don't see anything at first, it just looks clear. And then I see like these little lumps coming crawling up through my arm. And I kind of freak out a little bit. I'm like, "Oh my God." And I'm like shaking, like, "Oh my God, what is that?" And then out of nowhere, like there's this bump 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 sound. And next to the file cabinet, I didn't notice there was like this closet. And the closet has like these chains like wrapped around it, and it has like a keyhole there. So then I look at the guy, I'm like, "Do you hear that sound?" He's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "We need to open up the cabinet." I'm like, "Come on, let's open it." He goes, "Let's not." So then I'm like, "We need to find the key." So I start searching through the file cabinets, which each of them can open for some reason. They're all unlocked. I don't know. I start searching through them to find like a key or something. I can't find one. And then I go over to the desk. There's like a desk over there. I go to the desk and the desk is kind of locked. So then I'm like, I have to get that open because whoever is inside, if I remember from the Resident Evil game, Luis was inside. And I said, I was like, "I think there's a guy in the cabinet who can help us." So I asked the guy on the floor, I'm like, help me find a key to open the door." And he's like, "I don't think we should open it. It's a bad idea." I'm like, "It might be someone." He said, "Well, if it's a person, why don't you call out to them? Why don't you say, 'Hey, what's your name?'" So then I walk up to the cabinet where the it's like bump and it's like moving. And I go, "Hey, what's your name?" And it stops moving. So I yell again, "Hey, what's your name?" And I look back at the guy. I'm like, "That's funny." Not, he's not saying anything. So then I go, "Hey, what's your name?" And then boom, the cabinet door just busts open. It's not a man in there. There's a mutated creature and it comes at me. Like his whole mouth is opened up and it's headed toward me. So then like I close my eyes. And then when I opened them, luckily I was safe back here. I mean, I don't know why I didn't think like try to block it or try to like put something in front of it to try to keep that thing from like breaking out. And then also like because it was like the room was kind of squarish, we were like kind of trapped in there, so it was kind of like whatever your doom is, that's like your doom. But also, I was already affected, so it's like, I mean, the chances of me getting attacked and I'm already affected gotta be pretty low, right? I don't know. Anyway, I wanted to share that shifting experience with you. I wanted to share my scripting with you that I tried to do. It didn't work for me. Maybe it'll work next time or something. So my next video is definitely going to be The Walking Dead. I'm really excited about it. I know I've been promising that for a while. In my last video, I did mention Attack on Titan. If you watched it, it's a gaming video. I mentioned it for like a brief second about that. And so like, I don't know that it's really safe for me to go to the Promised Neverland. I really want to ship there, but I'm thinking I might go as like a child, like a orphan or something. I don't know. Anyway, don't forget to like my video. All right, and I'll see you next time. Have a great day. Goodbye.